Okay, go ahead.
In Joppa, there was a disciple named Tabitha. In Greek, her name was Dorcas.
Mm-hmm.
She was always doing good and helping the poor. About that time, she became ill and died, and her body was washed and placed in an upstairs room. Lydda was near Joppa, so when the disciples heard that Peter was in Lydda, they sent 2 men to him and urged him, "Please come over at once." Peter went with them, and when he arrived, he was taken upstairs in a room. All the widows stood around him, crying and showing him the robes and other clothing that Dorcas had made, while she was still with them. And this, of course, is Acts 9:36 through to 39. And we all know, of course, what happened after that. Peter sent the other people who were in the room where Dorcas had died, he sent them out of the room. And he got down on his knees and he prayed. We know it must have been a fervent prayer. He prayed and then he said, "Dorcas, get up." And she opened her eyes and she sat up. And when she saw Peter there, he helped her down and he called all the people back into the room and he presented Dorcas to them alive and well. I guess we can only conjecture that Dorcas was able to go back and take up her work that she had done so faithfully over the years. And this is the beginning thought in what I call a 3-part poem about the difference between men and women when it comes to clothing. Now, I know this sounds a little vague, but you'll get it in a minute. Okay. There is an old ballad that dates back to the 1930s. It was a poignant melody inspired by and during the Great Depression, which began with the stock market crash in 1929. I was born in 1925, so of course I knew nothing about the stock market crash. But believe me, I knew a lot about the Great Depression because through my elementary school years and well into junior high school years, we were still living under the Great Depression. It wasn't until the war began to stir up in Europe and Hitler began to march into the Low Countries that industry and things in the United States began to pick up because many people converted whatever their businesses was into war materials. And that was the beginning of the recovery. Anyway, these were harrowing days for all Americans, but particularly women who were daily attempting to maintain their homes as the safe and comfortable sanctuaries that they should be for their husbands and children. Children who now attend school in hand-me-down clothes and sparsely packed lunch boxes. Their husbands out of work and striving for handyman jobs or any kind of work to make a few dollars to keep the roof over the head. These were endless days of make do. I remember this very well, believe me. Throw nothing away. Sew, mend, patch. Everything came down to the essentials of food, shelter, and clothing, and believe me, clothing came in last. Clothing passed down from child to child when possible. Even shoes if they weren't worn completely out. Buying anything new was almost a legend of the past. There was a lot of tension in most homes. Guess who played the balancing act? Mother, of course. And now we'll go back to the old ballad that I mentioned. This was from 1932, a song called "Try a Little Tenderness." And here are the first couple verses of this song, and you'll understand where I'm going maybe. The song goes, "She may be weary, Women do get weary wearing the same shabby dress. And when she's weary, try a little tenderness. She may be waiting, just anticipating things she may never possess. While she's without them, try a little tenderness.
Hold the microphone.
And now I call this the gentle touch. And this is where we get into how men feel so much differently about clothing as women than men do. There are those, when reading the words of this song, will decide it's just clothes vanity. Most men wouldn't get it. They'd pass it along with raised eyebrows and no sympathy. But women will grasp every word in a flash, for each woman has been there before. When a trivial thing like a new dress or a hat can answer her needs to the core. When a woman is down, is discouraged and sad, and her personal life is awry, she has two choices: go out with some friends or curl up at home and just cry. If she chooses the former, she wants to look good. Wear a brave face on that special day. She's not looking for pity, but needs something new, so her friends think that all is okay. So a new dress is not just a fashion display, but a boost to inherent self-worth. And she prays to the Lord as she slips on that gown she can get by with laughter and mirth. These feminine methods men don't understand. So much intuition they lack. And she prays to the Lord as she slips on that gown she can get by. I'm sorry, I got the wrong line. These feminine methods men don't understand. So much intuition they lack. We women go forth in our battle array in a clothes from the store's bargain rack. And I have a postscript to this. A woman's blues will disappear as if they'd not been there if she's treated by the one she loves in a way that says, I care. A soft touch and a loving smile, if questioned, she'll confess. A single rose that a loved one chose to try a little tenderness. Thank you. Now I have another one here for you. It happens to be a favorite of mine. My pastor where I went to church in New Brighton, John Maruka, and his wife Carol, always encouraged